CQ, the old friends net. CQ, the old friends net. This is N4LQ, November 4, Lima, Quebec. Steve in Shelby, North Carolina. Calling CQ, the old friends net. 160 meters. We meet every night here on 1864 at 8 p.m. We are an amplitude modulated net only, and we take a list of check-ins, put them in order, and we do a old-fashioned round table. So if you'd like to check in, please call now.
All right, I'll keep you company. W4JPL.
WB4 NKL.
A couple of beautiful signals there, W4JPL and WB4 NKL, good and strong tonight. Who else do we have to join us? Go ahead. Well, somebody will come straggling in here before too long, I hope. Anyhow, I'm running the AF-68 tonight and driving the AL-82 amplifier to 317 watts carrier, in-fed half-wave antenna, and looking like a nice clear night. Kind of quiet, don't hear any static or anything. It's kind of unusual. I don't hear any line noise either. I spent the last half an hour getting my noise canceling signal enhancer thingamajig hooked up here, and looks like I don't need it. Well, that's okay. Anyhow, let's see what's going on up there in Liberty, Kentucky. W4JPL, N4LQ.
N4LQ and the group W4JPL. Well, good evening to Steve and Cliff. Hope you fellers are doing all right today. Cliff, I just wonder if you have any update on my buddy. If you heard anything else today. I spent most of the day working in my studio and working on that NC303. I've got all the capacitors changed except the can, and I'm waiting for those plates to come in before I can do that. That now won't be until Friday, but is what it is. Next, I'll work on the cabinet. I did fire it up tonight, and it sounds lovely. So now, next thing I'm going to attack is cleaning up the cabinet and painting the cabinet up. I think the weather will be nice if it don't rain too hard on Wednesday or Thursday. If we get a break in the rain, I could paint them then. I got the paint already. I've got some paint here. I bought several cans from Ace Hardware somewhere a couple years ago that match the Kenwood 520 series, and it's close enough that I'm going to use it on the NC303 top cabinet. It's really close, so that's what's happening here. But boy, oh boy, that 303 sounds sweet. So I don't have to do anything else to it except put it together. WB4NKL in the group, W4JPL.
W4JPL, it's WB4NKL. Okay, John. I was having a little trouble copying there the first, but you started coming up towards the last, so band conditions not real good between me and you tonight, don't seem like. Oh, we had a warm day. It got up above freezing. It was up into the 40s here today, so I got out here and turned the heat on fairly early, so it's about 65 out here in the radio shack tonight. I done cut it back so it wouldn't be running in the background. So it's just like springtime after that week of cold weather. snow's still hanging around, but maybe it'll get out of here in the next day or two. It's supposed to rain, being about 60 there by Friday, so maybe that can get rid of the rest of the snow. And 2 weeks from today, I'm leaving for Orlando, so got to start planning on that trip. Steve, I got one of the Zoe inductance meters. I ordered that same one that you got it in today. Been playing with it. I had some chokes here that I was checking, and it seems to be fairly accurate. I had one that was a 10 Henry, and it measured like 10.16, and then there was one that's 6 Henry, and it measured real close. I got one here that's supposed to be 20 Henry, and it's measuring 6. So I'm thinking that choke might have a problem. It don't look too good, but I'm gonna check some more. If it's close on all of them and way off on this 20 Henry, I'm gonna chunk the 20 Henry because I'm gonna believe the Zoya. Go ahead, Steve. N4LQs, WB4NKL.
W4GZ.
W4GUZ checking in. Anybody else want to check in? Well, go ahead, Brandon. Take it away, W4GUZ and 4LQ.
Okay, Steve. Get the swar down a little bit. I've been up on 40 meters of yak and got everything warm. Too warm. Well, not too warm. Good evening, John, Cliff, Steve. Not much happening here. Been at work all day. Yeehaw. Cliff, you're right. I tried calling Terry multiple times. He probably knew it was me if he was awake. He actually probably pulled the phone out of the wall after the third or fourth time I called. But I missed your report from yesterday. Amy and I come one ace to taking off and going, but we didn't yesterday. So I hope we get the opportunity to. Hopefully at his house, but it'll probably be Friday before I'll get a chance to come over or go over. But I did give it several tries today to get in touch with him. I hadn't heard from his ex-wife either. So back to you, Steve, unless there's somebody else lurking. N4LQ, W4GUZ.
W4GUZ, N4LQ. Well, I was looking at the S meter on the last two transmissions. Cliff was S9 plus 28, Brandon S9 plus 29, sometimes on 30. And I calibrated my meter using the Elcraft standard generator. It's a little handheld thing that's calibrated to several different microvolts output, and you can hook it to your PC and program what frequencies you want for each band. It's got a band selector button on it, and pretty simple little gadget. It's got a BNC on it. I just hook that to your receiver and fire it up, and I got it set for 50 microvolts. That's supposed to be S9. So it should be right on the money. It matched what the ICOM said on it too. So these meters can be made to work. Now, John, I'll have to look at you. I'm not sure. You were not quite as strong, but good copy. And fine business on the 303. It sounds like you're really motivated by that thing. It must sound really good. And what did you use for a speaker that sounded so lovely? Has that got a 6V6 or a 6AQ5 or what in the audio output? Just curious. I had one once, but gosh, it's been that was back in the 90s. One of my many trades and swaps and what have you. And Cliff, fine on the little meter. I like mine. The more I use it, the more I like it. I was looking for some capacitors today. I got into this D104 and decided to increase the capacitance on the capacitor that comes from the mic head to the input of the preamp. It was only 0.01, so I stuck a 0.22 in it, and I could see the difference on the spectrum analyzer. I could see it goes down easily below 200 cycles now, and it was just barely getting down below 300. So I think it dropped at about 100, which may not be detectable anyway, but I liked what I heard. And man, I don't know. I may get in there and go even lower than that. 0.22 isn't. What's strange on this is, I know it's a high impedance circuit, so it shouldn't take a whole lot of capacitance, but the one in between the two audio stages is 0.5. So instead of putting 0.5 on the input, they just use 0.01, which seems a little bit low to me anyway. And if I get frisky tomorrow, I may put one in there. I've got a 2.2 microfarad non-polarized, a real tiny little thing. I may stick that in there and see what happens. But I used my meter, and it was exactly right. I mean, the capacitance is just amazing. And I've measured a couple of chokes that were labeled, and they came out close enough to, you know, I trust the meter more than I do what they labeled it for. And voltage is great. Frequency, I haven't looked at that too much. The NCV thing is interesting, and I don't know, non-contact voltage, you just get the meter near an AC outlet device and it'll sound off. I don't know if you just get it near a outlet, it'll do it. It works if you put it near a wall wart, but I don't know. And I'm not sure I don't think I would trust it with my life. That's for sure. All right. Would anybody else like to check in? N4LQ.
Yes, this is WFTU Whiskey Foxtrot 2 Uniform.
Greetings. Sounding good tonight, Mir. All right. Let's put you after Brandon and W4GUZ. So the list is N4LQ, JPL, NKL, GUZ, and F2U. Anybody else out there like to check in? All right, John, go ahead for another round. W4JPL, N4LQ.
Okay. I can turn the power up a little bit here. Let's see. N4LQ in the group. W4JPL, fine business. The NC303 uses a 6AQ5 for audio, and I've got a national speaker in the cabinet for it, even though the speaker, I'm pretty sure has been at church because it's holy. I may have to replace it or patch it. But it's not buzzing or anything. It seems to work fine. The cabinet, of course, is nasty. I got to clean it up. It's got some kind of baffling around the inside of the cabinet that's all icky. So I have to take care of that. That'll be a future project. And hello to Mir, hello to Brandon. The other thing I've got to do is I got to get some WD-40. I'll do that when I go exercising tomorrow. And turn it down a little bit. When I go exercise, I'll stop at Lowe's and get some WD-40 and try that on cleaning the switches. Cliff, sadly, I'm not going to be able to go to Orlando, and I've already told you the reason why. That's all coming down, so fun. WB4NKL in the group, W4JPL.
W4JPL, it's WB4NKL. Okay, John, good deal on the 303. Brandon, yesterday when we went by, he had that, the emergency surgery, and he said they repaired an 8-inch tear, and I'm not sure where that was at, somewhere in his stomach or just out of his stomach, and then a couple holes. So I don't know what's going on with him. He's getting all these holes in his organs. It's kind of weird. But they cut his stomach open. He showed me, where they'd cut into his stomach. And but he still is not supposed to eat. He's still got a blockage, so it's not looking too good. That's about all I know about that situation. Of course, I don't know how much pain meds he's on and stuff, but he seemed to be pretty coherent as far as talking. When we first went in, he was turning the TV on. He was going to watch something on TV, and he said he was bored. He'd like to get out of there, and they were supposed to get him up and walk him some, but he said that didn't happen. So, and the phone, it rang a couple times while we was in there, and Linda picked it up, and it was one of those Indian insurance salesmen, and Terry said that's all he'd been calling. So I guess he probably picked up some of them and was getting the Indians, and he quit answering it. So he said might as well get rid of that. I hate that he didn't pick it up when you called. Go ahead, Brian. W4GUZ, it's WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff, very good. Hello, Mayor. Good evening. You are sounding real good here in Bakersville tonight. An 8-inch tear and a couple holes. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. And I'm not sure what they're doing for pain, because he's told me many times that he had an allergy to. It may just be opioids, or it could branch out further than that. I don't know, but he can't take much pain medication. Oh well, maybe we'll get over there. Like I said, I hadn't heard from his ex-wife, so she's been pretty good at any big change that's happened. She's called. I guess I've talked to her about 5 times since all this began, or since she got moved to Nashville anyway. John, good deal on the National 303. Have not owned a 303. I've got a 300 sitting here that I went through. It looks good. Do I use it enough? No. I'm trying to decide whether to move it or this SX28 upstairs and take the place of the HQ180 temporarily anyway. Get a little more fidelity. I'll probably move the Hallicrafters up there and put that big speaker beside it. But that's something else. I've talked to the local or the county recycling centers, and if anybody brings any speakers of any vintage in, they set them over to the side for me. So I've come out pretty good. Some of the I don't know, late 80s, early 90s cheap no-name speakers, 4 and 8 ohm, they sound surprisingly well on some of these boat anchors. I've chunked some back in the car and took them back to where I got them, but I've got quite a selection here of old junk speakers. Any other news here to report? Not that I know of. Besides, it's warming up, things are melting, and Looks like the rain's coming, but lows in the 30s and highs in the 40s. Like you said, Cliff, I'll take it. Amir, over to you. WF2U, what are you talking into tonight? W4G, is it?
Good evening, Brian and everybody else. W4GUZ and the net. This is WF2U. Well, first of all, everybody sounds great. Strong signals, and John was a little bit light, but not that terrible. 100% copy. But Steve and you, Brian, and Cliff are very strong. Completely sounds almost like FM, and very, very little noise on the band. And Brian, I'm using a 1950s military radio setup, completely as issued, no modifications, running from 28 volts, noisy as heck with all the internal fans and the internal dynamotor when it turns on when I press the push to talk on the mic, which by the way is a carbon mic that goes with the system. Anyway, this is the GRC 19 setup, designed by Collins, and many of them were made by Collins, and other contractors did the same thing. So, but it's a Collins design. That setup is comprises of the P195 transmitter, and the receiver is the R392 that some people might be familiar with. It's like the small 28 volt version of the R390, and there is no S meter on it. It's just like a carrier level for audio. So it's meaningless anyway. So I'm not going to give reports in S units. The output run right now is about 70 watts. It should be turning around 100. But it's running on the original vinyl tubes, which are 4CX250s, and looks like the emission might be a little lower than normal. I'm looking at the cathode current, and I have a bunch of them, so I just have to open it up and replace them. That's what I'm using right now. It's real AM, not just upper sideband. This is an AM CW and RTTY radio, and the antenna is 160 meter end fed. All right, with that, I guess it goes back to comment about the NC303. I have an NC300, and I guess the difference is that the 303 has a product detector. Otherwise, I love my 300. I usually use it with a DX100B that right now is out a little bit. I have to check it, had some modulation problems. And that's it. So N4LQ, this is WF2U.
Yeah, okay, WF2U, N4LQ, interesting. We got anybody else wanting to check in? Give me a call. Yeah, that's, so I guess you're running the same rig that you used to make that video, I think, GRC 19, and I had a ball with that video. That was something else. Boy, that fan is a bit overpowering. I think you're going to have to put the speaker down next to the phone or something. But that was a good quality video. Yeah, it looks. A lot of people are going to love that thing. As you were talking, there was some sound that was creeping into your audio, and it seemed like it was getting louder and louder, and it sounded, just trying to think of some analogy, it sounded like horses galloping. I don't know, kind of a real fast popcorn horse galloping sound. I don't know what that was. Or maybe you're nervous and shaking or something, and I don't know. Anyway, just thought I'd let you know. I don't know what to think of it. I think it'll show up in the recording, though. Anyway, thanks for the report. I guess I need to swap microphones to see if there's any difference, but this seems to have a better low frequency response than it did before the change. Because I'm showing right now, I'm showing down 150 cycles or something like that for the lows, which is pretty astounding for a D104. It's amazing. If that's all you have to do is change one capacitor, that's going to be interesting. And I may up the value of it. Anyway, and fine on Orlando. Yeah, I'd love to go to a Hamfest. Man, that would be great. But that's a little bit far to XYL. She couldn't go, and I wouldn't want to leave her here by herself anyway. So we went to, of all things, she got up late this morning, and she said, I want to go to the Waffle House. I just about fell out of my chair, and she said, let's wait till 11 o'clock, because she just ate a banana for breakfast and ate that one kind of late. So we went over there about 11 o'clock and had an excellent meal. But, you know, it cost, let's see, $28 plus the tip, another couple of bucks, $3, whatever. So it's not cheap, but I had so much to eat. I think I ordered way too much. A big waffle and two eggs over easy, and 3 nice big slabs of bacon and bread and coffee and all kinds of good stuff. Today I took my first walk. It's been over a week. I just didn't want to get out there in the cold, but today it got up to 48. I put on my coat and my ear flap hat and went out and headed up the road and got my 2-mile walk in, and I feel like I've accomplished something today. W4JPL, N4LQ.
N4LQ and the group W4JPL. Fine business, everybody. Yeah, we go exercising at the Y on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, limiting it pretty much to that right now. And when the weather gets half decent, we'll go walking 1 or 2 days a week also. But we offset that because we found a really nice restaurant in Burlington where they have, we can get a good breakfast for both of us for like $17 or $18, including tip. And I get 2 eggs, bacon, white toast, hash browns, the whole 9 yards, and a drink. And that's pretty cheap. That's cheaper than going to McDonald's. And it's always really, really good. So we like to go there after we exercise and enjoy it. So that's what's going on with that. WB4NKL in the group, W4JPL.
Yeah, W4JPL, it's WB4NKL. Band's coming around now, John. Solid copy that time. I was having a little trouble there before, but it's getting better. Yeah, we got out today and went to Ollie's. That's where I get my K-Cup coffee. And I got the best deal on it. And so I got about 4 cartons of that. And we went to Captain D's. We belong to their club, I guess you'd call it, and they give you a free birthday meal. So Linda had a free birthday meal. We went by and got that, and so that helps a little bit, catch it in about half. And I did get to walk in today. I've been doing the treadmill. I hadn't missed any walks. I've done it every day, but I guess about 3 days I had to finish it out. I did part of it outside, but most of it was on the treadmill for about 3 days. So looking forward to the better weather. I got, like I said, got out and did it today without messing with the treadmill. So better times ahead. Mir, the rig sounds better to me tonight. I don't know. I didn't really notice that noise Steve was talking about, but I had a better copy on you than I have in the past few nights, so it's working pretty good in my direction. Go ahead, Brian. W4GUZ, it's WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff, WB4NKL and the group W4GUZ. You guys are making me jealous about all your walks and hikes, and I don't know about the treadmill. That would be boring. I had a pretty expensive elliptical given to me years ago. It stayed at, not that long ago, about 5. It stayed at Mom's, and I used it a couple times in her basement. I said, this is boring. Of course, I was staring at a cinder block wall in her basement. So she sold it for me. But the wife and the dogs got out with her one hand, and they probably done about 1.5 miles, I guess, in the snow. Went up and checked on our home away from home, and the tent, believe it or not, it's holding up. She did have to beat and bang and get a bunch of ice off of it, but it sprung back to life after all the frozen stuff was removed. But that's I guess that's about it from here. When 4 o'clock comes early, I've already finished supper. Trying to do that a little bit earlier, so. And boy, she overdone herself last night. Probably wasn't the best meal in the world for you. But she had fried some. She done fried cornbread night before last, but last night she chunked up some real beef hot dogs into little chunks, and poured a couple cans of sauerkraut on that and let that simmer and cook down. And man, oh man, that was good. Along with the cornbread, which it looks like pancakes or tater cakes. Almost tastes just like potato cakes, but. So we've got that, or we had that left over again from last night, and belly's full of sauerkraut and wieners, so you can't beat that. A little cornbread. So I'll make this my last one. I'll be listening as I stoke the fire here and wind down for the night. Amy says hello to everybody. She passed through just a few minutes ago. And Mir, I don't have that terribly strong of a signal on you, but I didn't hear the noise that Steve heard either, or I don't hear the dynamotor, so you sound good up this way. I'll be listening in the morning from work, and hopefully be back in here tomorrow night with you guys. 73 from Bakersville, North Carolina. W4GUZ. Go ahead, Mir. WFTU W4GUZ 73.
your W4TUZ that says WFTU. Well, good copy still, and yeah, the noise is a little distracting. That's why I don't, when I'm just not recording, I'm using the original headset, which is actually noise. It's almost like shooting. I can go shooting with it. It's noise canceling headset, and I can hear a little bit from the dynamotor and the fans. Two very fast small fans in there to move the air in and out. It's incredibly tightly packed, and a lot of dissipation between the modulator tubes and the finals and the rest of the equipment inside. And so anyway, and Steve, yeah, this is the radio that this is the setup that is on the video that I used on the old Transnet, and I have channel 1 here is 1864. It's basically working if you are familiar with the ART13, that you preset the frequencies, and then you can, instead of tweaking everything, you just set the channel. It will tune to that channel. It starts spinning and tunes it. It just in this one, it's direct frequency. It's a mechanical digital display, and works just like the R390 and 390A and all that family, and the R392, same kind of display, so it shows you the frequencies directly. And I'll actually take a short video when I'm switching between the pre-programmed channels. I can tune it if I release the programming block, then I can just tune it manually too. But then I can't change the channel, because then it's going to screw all the other settings up. So yeah, so I'll take a short video at the end of the net, just what it looks like and what it sounds like switching from channel to channel that I programmed here. I have the MMRCG frequency program once a month using AM. I have 3885, I have 3715, and I also have a old military radio on CW frequency program. Anyway, so that's it. Yeah, that's the radio, as you can see. I only put the speaker on when I put the video on the speaker. So 73, Brian. Have a good night and take care. So back to you there, Steve. N4LQ WFTU.
Do we have any more check-ins for tonight? Call in for LQ. Okay, N4LQ. Well, that's interesting. I didn't hear the noise near as much. I don't know what that was all about. I think it's got something to do with the microphone in your hand, maybe. I don't know. So you can listen to the video and try to figure it out. It may not even show up in the video. And let's see here. What was I gonna? Breakfast for $18. Was that for 2 people? Man, $18. You can't hardly get anything anywhere for $18. I remember when I was working in Louisville, there was a place that there was a guy in the cubicle next to me, and we'd go out to lunch, just walking get a little exercise and walk down the road, and there's this one place that served breakfast for $2. 2 eggs over easy, bacon, and grits or something, and a piece of toast. That's really that's all I ate. And $2 a piece. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. And that was back in probably 1990 something. And Cliff, okay, on the K-Cup. And all these K-Cup coffee. What do you get, Colombian or what? Captain D's I like. It's far to drive, and the XYL does not like fish, so we haven't gone there. They got chicken though, and she could probably get by with that. One of these days we'll talk her into going there, I guess. And I was sitting here, I'm looking at the test questions for the extra, going through it. It's been a little over 50 years since I took my extra test, and there is very little similarity in what I took versus this mess. And it's a good thing they got the questions here to memorize, because I wouldn't be able to answer a lot of these things. I mean, like, what type of frequency synthesizer circuit uses a phase accumulator, lookup table, digital to analog converter, and low pass anti-alias filter? You know, who cares? But anyway, what is the most common input and output impedance of circuits that use MMICs? I don't even know what an MMIC is. My mother's ICs, or what is that? Now here's one. Orthogonal frequency division multiplexing is a technique used for which type of amateur communications? It's got to be some kind of digital mode, I guess. But they just gotten really out of control here. But I think there's only 50 questions. So all you got to do is go through here and memorize these things, and it's so quick and easy to take the test and practice test and test and whatever on this this hamstudy.org site. And who knows, I might accidentally learn something. W4JPL, N4LQ.
Alrighty, N4LQ in the group, W4JPL, fine business. Yeah, that little restaurant in Burlington, not only is the food inexpensive, it's $15 at a $3 tip. It's delicious. I mean, really, really, really delicious. So you go in there and waitresses are all friendly, nice place, you know, good atmosphere and all, and you can't beat it. You really can't beat it. We look forward to going there. As far as I haven't looked at what they are doing now, but problem with it is it's just all memorization, questions and answers. And probably 80% of the people having an extra class license don't understand what they just passed the test about. I mean, they can't even solder a PL259 on a piece of coax or wire a microphone. It's like, come on. Ham radio, to me, is, you know, you got to be able to do a little bit. I'm no genius, but I can find my way through a radio. Maybe not some of this newer stuff, because it's all, surface mount stuff, but I've done a little bit of that too. So to me, that's all about ham radio. Gentlemen, I've had all the fun I can stand today. My eyes are tearing up. I'm so tired. So I'll be listening for a few minutes, but this is the last transmission of the day. 73, God bless. Over to you, Mr. Cliff, sir. WB4NKL and the group W4JPL.
And W4JPL, it's WB4NKL. Good copy again, John. Yeah, that was test. That's what I was talking about, Steve. I was looking at it, and I didn't. Well, you know, some of the stuff that was on the old basic electronics I could grab a hold of, but they had so many questions in there, I didn't even know what they were talking about. And I talked to Tommy. He just took his TB4 PSI. He took his Saturday, and he'd been studying for it. He didn't try to memorize it. He was wanting to understand it, so he went to the study guides and studied up on it. And they didn't tell him what he made on the test, but they told him he done real well. He said he spent about 36 to 40 hours study before he took it. So that's probably what I would have to do, because I'm not good at memorizing. I'd have to get a grasp on it before I could take the test. I think it was 1975 I took the extra, and took the second and first class phone the same year. And it has changed. Everything's changed a lot. Of course, they did away with the first and second class phone and give you a lifetime general license a few years after that. And they had some back in the day when we took the extra and the first class phone, they had those frameable license. I've still got all mine framed around here somewhere. The originals. Now all they want to do, I don't even think they send you anything now. They just send you something you can print out, email or something. And Tommy said in July they're going to redesign the test, so whatever's on there now will probably change again in July. So I don't know whether it'd be easier or harder or what the deal is, but it's in for an upgrade. And let's see, yeah, we got a pretty good mom and pop type restaurant, or a couple of them around here, but it's usually about $8 to $10 a person anymore. Used to you could eat for a couple bucks or $3, but not so much anymore. I guess I'll go ahead and get out too and head on in, see what else I can get into. So hello to Amy, Brandon, if you're still listening, and we will try to catch everybody in the morning, and maybe again tomorrow night. It's warm weather. I'll be back out here. So go ahead, Mir. WF2U, WB4NKL.
Roger, WB4NKL, and the little group that is left here. This is WF2U. Yeah, very good, Cliff. John, 100% copy. You're still weak, but no problems. And well, I'm going to, of course, be here with this radio on the Old Friends Net tomorrow morning. And hopefully conditions are going to be good. They are expecting rain here starting from the afternoon, and then we're going to be blessed with that same thing until Friday, I believe. So looks like I'm not going to have herding this week either. Giving my dogs a little bit of a winter break. What can I do? Anyway, so that's what I have to say. And oh yeah, John, you were talking about speakers. I have a habit of going to thrift shops and picking up pretty decent bookshelf speakers. I don't use really big speakers because it doesn't make any sense for communications receivers, plus the space that it takes. But I usually find nice size bookshelf speakers that are not taller than an average boat anchor radio, and they all sound good. So that's what I'm doing. With that, Steve, at the end of the net, I'm going to take a short video, just switching, as I said, switching between the channels that I programmed. and see what that mechanism looks like. It will definitely remind you of the ART-13 to a certain extent. So, back to you, Cliff, you still sound good. And talking about K-cups, I never liked it, although we had it one time. I always found it too weak, no matter what. So besides the regular coffee machine, I have a nice, real espresso machine, which I sometimes, almost every afternoon, I have a nice double espresso, because I like it. So, N4LQ, this is WFU.
That does sound good. I had a coffee at Waffle House today, and I thought it was kind of weak. So far, my favorite is the Golden Corral. Boy, that stuff, it's called Gold Peak, and I don't think you can buy it in the store. You can buy the bottled drinks, but not I haven't seen the coffee itself, coffee grounds or anything. But it's always good at the Corral. All right. Well, I guess we're about out of people here. Anybody else want to check in late before we shut her down? Okay. All right, Mira. Well, I'll be looking forward for that video and watch I guess it spins its knobs and tunes itself up automatically and all that good stuff. And probably uses a phase lock loop. Yeah, see, they ought to put that stuff on the extra exam. What is a GRC19 and what is the voltage on the plate of the final? That would be good. 73s, thanks for coming around, folks. Been a good evening. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock on the Old Friends Net 3715 with Dave, WA4LLR is the MC. This is N4LQ, closing the net. Good night.
This is WFTU. Good night, everybody. And this is not a phase lock loop. I consider this is from the 50s. They started to issue these in 1952 until the early 60s. And it's purely mechanical. Those channels that you can memorize, it's purely mechanical. It has a regular Collins PTO with the multipliers that are driving the finals, which are a pair of 4 CX250s running only at 1,000 volts plate, and it's set to put out 100 watts carrier, saving the tubes. But these tubes are original since 1952. That's the manufacturing date of this one. So I think it's time to kind of change them. So 73, and immediately I'm going to take a short video that I think I'll be able to mail as an attachment. If not, then I'll upload it to Dropbox as usual. But anyway, have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. N4LQ, this is WFQ. Thanks for running the net.
Roger, 73's, Mayor. The N4LQ clear.